Thank you, through.
All right. Okay. All right, so 7 o'clock, so we'll get the meeting started, so. All right, stand for pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, so first up on our agenda is roll call. Cindy? Doug? Here. George? Here. Leanne?
Here?
Nick?
Here.
Rob?
Here.
Steve?
Here.
Awesome. All right, thanks everyone for making it out tonight. Got a full agenda, so. First up is approval of November minutes. Everyone get a chance to look those over. Any questions or okay to stand as read? All right, looks like we're good to go.
Okay.
All right, item 3 up is Painter rezone.
Dan, did you have anything with that, or?
Doorbell's ringing, so give him a second here.
I think he was gonna have me jump right in, but
Yeah, we'll cover that here in a second.
Is that you under there, Andy?
Hey, how are you? Yeah.
Everybody looks the same to me anymore.
Did you have anything? Or did you want me to jump right in?
Dan, so the first one up's Painter rezone is what we
Correct.
have on the agenda, so.
This is Andy Colt, James Attorney. He's gonna go through this petition, and they're petitioning to rezone 10 plus acres of ground that's currently zoned agriculture on the southern edge of town to industrial.
Okay.
Now, I've sent you guys all that information before. I assume you've seen it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for the record, as Dan said, I'm Andy Colt with Comer Law Office in Danville, 71 West Marion Street. So you guys have the packet then, so you probably don't need the outline of the property. You're familiar with the 3 parcels.
Everybody good with that?
Okay. I will give, since I haven't been here in quite a while before your group, so I don't know who's aware of what, so I'm just gonna give a real quick background. We are talking about 3 parcels, one of them 7.03, there's a 2.97, and there's 0.24 acre parcel that James just purchased from the town. The property all adjoins the wastewater facility there. And you probably know James was the owner of AA Septic, and he has a dewatering business. He's currently operating that partially on the town's parcel. And again, you probably know, but he accepts the town's sewer sludge, and he dewaters that and then hauls off the solid component, and the water goes back to the town. His objective moving forward is to put that operation, his part of it, on his property. So he's working with IDEM to get the permitting to do that, and one of their requirements is to make sure that the zoning is in line with what he does. And since he just annexed this into the town, the zoning does not match what's currently going on out there. So we are seeking to go with the industrial zoning on the property. I'll answer any questions you might have. I mean, if there's any need to talk about the history of the property and the zoning and how, what we've done in the past through the county, I was James' representative in that, so I can answer that, but I don't want to waste your time. So if you have any questions.
Anybody have any questions to bring up? So, guess we need to make sure everybody's on board with it. So, Dan, anything we need to cover from the board standpoint? Just sign the paper, and
Well,
let's make sure that we probably should take an official vote and So everyone is in agreement to doing it?
That's the board of, the finding of facts for the, rezoning. You guys might wanna look that over and make sure you agree. Basically, what he's trying to do complies with the comprehensive plan and what the goals of the town of Clayton are, so.
And I will say with that, I don't know, Dan had told me a couple weeks ago that there's an effort underway with your comprehensive plan to update that. Just so you're aware, this blue area down here was from your current comprehensive plan. That is industrial zoning. We're right in that area. So whether you're gonna change that going forward, I don't know, but as of right now, the request is in line with what your future land use map shows.
You know, I think it's pertinent, it matches with what the area is, but,
So we didn't change any real boundaries on that, it was
no.
more of a combination of UDO stuff.
So everybody had a chance to look at that. Cindy, there's a copy of the agenda up here if you want it for notes.
Excuse me.
Okay. Thank you.
So what you'll wanna do is just summarize the whole issue, state what you're needing.
Alright, so, you want a chance to look at
Go
that?
ahead.
You good, okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so just, like I was saying, just to re-summarize, we're looking at rezoning, changing it from the current zoning into industrial, which matches the area that's down there right now. So we need to move forward. I think we've signed the documentation, so need somebody to say that we're in favor of it, and then a second.
I'll make a motion, we adopt the 10 acre rezoned industrial.
So everyone in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Alright, so,
Thank you.
Gary,
Appreciate your time tonight.
you're welcome. Thanks for coming.
Sure.
Okay, trying to move on, we got number 4, special exception application.
Yeah, this is, for Mr. Hawk, and it's case number 1020220-001 SPE, and what he's looking for, he owns a property at 4738 Ohio Street, which is a single-family home. And in R5, to turn that into a duplex or a double, which is what he'd like to do, requires a special exception by the BZA. So, any questions? I think, and I've sent all this information to you guys before, I assume you've seen it and had a chance to read it.
Everybody get a chance to browse through that?
Yeah. So what he's asking for is a special exception to turn that single-family home into a double. I need these back whenever they get
I'll
signed.
keep 'em. Yeah, keep 'em right
Okay.
here. Get with you after the meeting.
And that really goes before the BZA, which,
Yeah, me and Nick and
yeah.
Yeah,
Brad
So
couldn't be here.
they'll need to sign that. George.
yeah,
So you'll have to close
So,
this
yeah, I gotta
meeting
say,
and
yeah.
open a BZA
yeah.
meeting for them to.
You guys ready for that, activity to happen?
That's fine.
All right.
when you want
Close the, regular planning zoning meeting, and you want me,
to. Yeah,
Go
go
open it.
ahead,
Okay,
you
so-
can open it.
okay. Alright, so open up the BZA meeting for, this appeal.
Okay, so on the special exception report, we've got a Board of Zoning Appeals of the Town of Clayton, being heard for the special exception, the special exception will not be injurious to the public health or safety requirements. The development standards for requested use prescribed in this ordinance will be met. Granting the special exception will not be contrary to the general purpose of the zoning ordinance and will not permanently injure other properties or uses in the zoning district or vicinity. The proposed will not be consistent with the character of the zoning because it's a special exception district which is located in the Clayton Comprehensive Plan. I think, Nick, have you been by and seen the property? I think we drove by it. Basically, I spent some time on site with Eric. He has 2 city lots side by side with a house on one. The other lot is empty. He's asked to turn the house into basically a duplex operation for rental. He still has two lots. It's just the way they're done. So it's basically from a square footage standpoint, he's got a lot more square footage there. The only exception I would like to see with this is that we make a requirement that says that the empty lot cannot be developed as long as that's a duplex. To maintain the fact that we have two residents on and 2 properties right there, so that we're not increasing the density of the housing really, just because of the direction of the lot lines. Because literally, if you clock the lot lines 90 degrees, you could have 2 houses, you know, in the same position. So he's got, I've seen an ample space for parking. He's actually done some pavement or some gravel improvements and that kind of stuff.
Each one of those, and I'm not sure if you're aware of it or not, Jim, requires 2 parking places.
Yeah, I got that put in.
Okay.
There's a pull off in the front, and then on the alley side, there's a drive there.
So I guess we'll ask for approval. It's just, we're shorthanded 1 person today. Normally Brad Butler's here, but his wife had to have some tests run today and he couldn't be here tonight. Ask for approval. All in favor? Aye. So we'll pass this. You just have to get with him, and like, you know, we talked about, you'll have, it's basically 2 houses. You're gonna have 2 sewer bills, two of everything. So, and from that standpoint.
How do I proceed from this point with power?
He
I need
will,
to issue you a building permit.
you'll have to issue you a remodel building permit. Is that a remodel or is that that'd be a remodel, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Remodel permit so that you can actually, then the electrical company can actually split the power for you.
And just like anything else, before you cover anything up, electrical or plumbing, we need to do an inspection. Then we
Correct.
do pre-drywall framing inspection,
Mhm.
and then we'll do a final inspection on that. So,
Sure.
But I'll get you a permit. We'll have to do that tomorrow if you'd like.
I can, yes.
So Rob, sorry, just to clarify for note taking,
Sure.
does, for the duration that the duplex is standing, the empty lot must remain empty
Rest remain empty.
in what you're proposing here?
Yes.
And everybody's okay with that information?
That's correct.
Okay.
Do we need to make those notations back here on the back of this, Dan?
We're,
Did
Yeah.
There's the lines. Do you wanna type that in so it's, you know what I'm saying?
I can, if you just wanna write them down for me, what you'd like to see on there, and then I
Okay.
can type it all in.
Cause I think we really ought to put the legal description of the 2 lots in there, just for clarification that lots, I know there's some numbers on Beacon, as I looked at them, we can at least put the lot numbers down and make that clarification on there, but we can make sure that happens.
Okay.
Okay. So you good? Any other
Close.
discussion? Alright.
Thank
So
you.
we'll close the BZA special meeting and open back up the planning zoning. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alright, I'm gonna skip 5, we'll come back to you and go on to number 6, which is the other special one we had, Dwayne Lane preliminary meeting.
Are you guys familiar with Dwayne Lane and Elkham property?
We've met.
Sure. Couple times.
Can I come up?
Yeah, please, yes.
So,
Floor's all yours.
I've got the house under contract to the south of where we did the 4 duplexes between Iowa and Pennsylvania Street. And what I'd like to do is, I think there's a little over an acre there. I'd like to split off 2 lots on Pennsylvania Street and then keep the house on the other side to itself. So it'd be a single-family house still.
Oh, so you're gonna keep the existing home then?
Yes.
Okay.
So he'll stay.
Yeah, I was thinking
Okay.
you were gonna,
Yeah. I
No,
thought-
it,
yeah,
it,
that's kind of what's my.
it's a single-family house. It's a pretty nice house. So we'll
Okay.
keep that house and just build 2 on the back side where Pennsylvania Street is. Yeah, it's,
Oh, you're not gonna put the third one beside the house then?
no, there'll
Okay.
just be, there'll be 2 on Pennsylvania Street side only.
Okay.
So
That's these back here, right?
it sits here this way, and here's a house on Iowa Street,
Yeah.
and then here's
Oh,
our 2
that's the two.
duplexes.
Gotcha.
This is Pennsylvania Street,
Yeah.
the old
So
L&D
we'll make
building.
these 2.
Now here's the 2 that we'll be doing. So here's the house, split that off to match these 2. And this is Pennsylvania Street, this is Iowa Street and 500.
Is Pennsylvania paved that whole direction now?
I don't
knew
believe
we were-
it's paved
No.
all the way down to the corner, is it?
No.
No.
Okay.
No, so
Will that be part of a need for
we'll need to
your
pave,
project?
yeah, we'll need to pave it all the way down so so the back one can get out. I think, do you know where it's paved to, Dan? It's probably paved just to the alley, isn't it?
Right, there's a 10-foot alley that runs down through there. It's paved to it.
Yeah, it's paved to the alley, so the road's there, but there's no pavement there. Any questions?
Those 2 lots would be the same size as the other lots that you built?
I was gonna make the back property line the same size, but because the alley there, we're short 10 foot. So these were 60 foot wide, and so that would put them probably, I'm guessing at 55. They lost 10 foot through there because of the alley. And we might, it'd be a Del Cruz question, but they might possibly, we'll have to see if, there is some utilities down here on the end. I don't believe they go through the alley, so that might be a reason to close that alley also if it's not.
That was gonna be my next question.
Oh,
A
the alley
problem.
between the houses and your existing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got a common problem that you see all over in all the
Right.
little towns where they put the drive is actually in the alley, not on the property,
Right.
and that's very common.
But you don't know what they do. We don't know if there's utilities there yet.
There's utilities down here on this end,
On the back end.
on the Pennsylvania side,
Okay.
but I don't know if they go up that alley or if they're just on the Pennsylvania
Okay,
side.
okay.
So there's a pedestal, the sewer itself is on the east side of Pennsylvania Street.
Okay.
This is on Wells, so then we'll be in the back. But there's a AT&T or some kind of phone setting right there against Pennsylvania Street in that alley. So I don't know if it goes through or where it goes.
Okay.
We'll have to do some investigating there to figure that out.
So how close if we can't vacate the alley, how close would that put the house? I remember we had to make a special exception.
I believe on the houses on Pennsylvania Street, no, on Tennessee Street, the 3 that we did on Tennessee Street, them are the ones that we asked for a little bit of setback requirement, so
Yeah, your adjoining property, your houses on your property lines could sit a little closer.
yes,
Or the units could be a little closer.
yes.
I don't remember what that was.
15 feet from the property line. We
It's,
changed it down to 10, I believe, on.
No,
I think it
like-
was 6, on the side property line it's
Yeah,
6,
side
and I
line.
think we had to go to 5. And one of the things that we had over there that we won't have here is, I think we offset them a little bit. Like this one might be 3 foot, but this one's,
Oh, I
they're,
see.
to be able to get them a little bit further apart because of that corner lot.
Okay.
So when you have a corner, you've got setback on that corner also.
But you guys haven't done any engineering work yet to know where you're at?
No, not with this,
Yeah,
no.
okay,
I
so,
think what you're looking at tonight is just preliminary, would we even be on board with it?
Yes.
This approach tonight,
Right.
so nothing to really vote on other than, yeah, it looks favorable enough to,
and these are gonna be, in the back will be doubles again?
Yes.
Okay. So, Dan, if I'm right, that would just require us to grant him a variance to put doubles on there, is that right, on those two back lots?
Well, we'd have to rezone it like we did the other 4 lots,
Okay, cause this is currently zoned
R2,
R2, and we have to take it to
R3.
R3.
And I'm assuming, and Dan, this is a question for you, but I'm assuming that we'll do that all in one. So, or will we have to do it two? We'll have to rezone and then do the division, or can we divide it and do the split at the same time?
Does it have to be divided, cause it looks like it's already a lot there
No,
separate?
no, them blue lines are mine.
Ah, okay.
So it's one big lot that's over, I think it's just over an acre.
Okay,
So we were gonna split off the back even with the ones that we did, next door.
Okay.
So that they all lined up like they would have if it had been done in the 1800s.
okay.
And then just go all the way through and then leave that one up on the front. They'll be probably close to a half acre.
so really just become contiguous or similar to what's already in the front,
Yes,
yeah.
be very similar.
You've not run into any challenges or, anything like that with the existing ones that you have?
No, actually, it's
People
been
get in and
very
out.
smoothly. I probably don't hear every complaint that comes into my office, but we haven't had any problems. And, you know, Justin that lives there, I don't know if you met, I'm sure you met Justin, he's been in here a couple times. He had so originally, and me and Dan worked this through, originally, after we had said, okay, you know, if we have a problem with back there with your porch, we'll put a fence there. And so we were gonna put a fence there, and he said, no, I don't want the fence. And then something happened, I don't know what happened, and he wanted the fence, then he decided he didn't want the fence before we got the fence in. And then, it was like 6 months later, he called again, and then he wanted the fence again. So, we just put the fence in before he changed his mind. So and then the other lady that was actually remonstrated on this, other project we did here, she actually lived in that house and she was just renting it.
Oh.
Cause the guy that owns that's named Mike Willard or something like that.
Owns the pond here north
Yep,
of town.
owns the
yeah.
pond, yep, that's the same guy. So she was a renter. Justin buys that on contract off his dad,
Right.
so,
And his dad lives in the house at the driveway, if I remember. right.
yes, in the
long
back,
driveway.
just to the south.
Right. 'Cause
Big,
they have
nice
two
house.
things- Yeah, the big house, yeah.
Yeah.
So anybody, got any questions or see any objections to prevent moving forward?
I mean,
Yeah.
with what we've already got there, it's just gonna make it very similar, it's just adding to the maybe
Right.
a couple more. I don't see that as an issue.
We still have opportunity to check the boxes and everything, cause you got some work to be done. so-
Yeah, I would say, I don't know how soon, you know, I would say that it would take till, it's according to when the next meeting or second meeting is, you know, to get everything put together and get everything put in place. I mean, it's pretty simple cut and dry as far as the engineering part of it, because it's just a simple replat's what it would be.
Dan, you don't see issues with drainage, surface drainage or anything back there?
Now, there's actually a storm drain on the east side of the property
Mm-hmm.
that actually runs across that alleyway
Okay,
and then actually goes to the drainage ditch south of Delmar Lane and down to the church.
okay.
Right up through the
Okay,
church.
so it hits the main ditch that goes east.
Yeah.
Yeah, the drain's actually there in the front, so
Okay,
like I said, it'd be a real simple, probably be one of the more simple ones that Dale works on, because, you know, everything's right there where he needs, so.
I was just trying to make sure we didn't have something that,
Yeah,
From the
drainage is
standpoint of-
always an issue.
Yeah,
so-
exactly.
But like, that drain is like right in here,
oh, okay,
and then it goes across here, and there's another drain here, and then it comes down here to this corner.
okay.
and then goes out through that big ditch at the church.
Okay.
See, looks like everybody's in favor, so go ahead and move forward.
Okay.
And,
I'll be able to start working on it tomorrow.
okay.
Thanks, guys, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
See you next.
I don't know if we shake hands or what.
You never know anymore.
Bump head, shake hands, whatever.
Yeah. Give it just a second, we need Dan, cause he's got the, next up is gonna be the UDO. He's got it ready to, I think actually for ready to sign and get it in place.
Right. Okay. These guys are an advisory plan commission, so basically they make a recommendation to the town council and they approve that. Thursday. Yeah. Okay, that'll work. See you guys.
Dan, you're busy tonight, up again, the UDO approval, does that come forward?
It does. Have you guys seen the email that Debbie Luzier from GRW sent out? So you guys actually have the authority to, approve the UDO.
Yeah.
What I did was plug in our old fees. Those have to be changed by ordinance anyway, so you can change those later on down the road. You know, update the fees as you guys see fit. But at least you can adopt the UDO now and then, take care of the fee part later.
So previously, back in the meeting at the park, Deb told us that for the UDO to become formal, we had to have a public meeting at our planning and zoning meeting. And then when that public hearing happened, then we could go to we take our recommendation to the town council, and then they have to have another public hearing. Did she change that
According to the
now?
email she sent me, no, you don't,
Okay.
you guys can
Alright.
adopt it. And
Okay.
then, when you decide to do ordinances, to do fees, that has to be done by ordinance, which would need to be approved by the town council. So, my understanding is, you guys could adopt these right now.
And then bring it as a recommendation before the town board on Thursday, and they would
No,
make it official?
you can
or just
recommend
it
them, I
is?
mean, you can approve them right now, and it doesn't take the town council to do that.
Okay.
If you, go to the, BZA rules and procedures in this new UDO, adoption and amendment history for rules, you guys can actually adopt this right now. And, like I said, and then and the same thing, you would do the same thing on, the PC rules and regulations. You would actually do the same thing again, is adopt those. And you don't even have to ask the council, even though most of them are here anyway, so. And I'm working on getting, once this is adopted by you guys, the plan would be to get this on our website. Not just Facebook, the town of Clayton website as well.
Yeah.
So that people have access to this, they have access to the applications, the whole 9 yards. Is gonna simplify everything for everybody.
And Deb has a setup where she would have it in a searchable PDF format on the website, so people could go and just look for what they're looking for and not have to go through that's like a 200-page document.
Yeah, building
But they
permit
could-
and it comes
Right,
up.
they can just look for whatever piece of information they want, whether it's a building permit or a tear down permit or
Whatever.
variance application, and they can just find that right away. So Deb we would have to, get GRW to, just take that notebook that Dan just had, upload it on our website, and format it in a way that it's indexed and categorized so that people can find what they're looking for. So,
Even for us, I had a council member call me and ask me if they needed a permit for a 14 by 30 building. He could have gone on the site if this was up there, found out exactly what he needed to know. He wouldn't have. He could still call me, but I mean, it's possible.
The point is you can find it,
Only
right?
one that does
It's
that.
there. Very
that's
good.
right. That is right.
Alright, well, I'm anxious to get it moving, we've been working on it for quite some time, so, somebody wanna make a recommendation that we do it, and then we'll proceed accordingly. You wanna make a motion?
Make a motion.
Go for it. Awesome.
Cindy's first.
Way to get in the game.
Alright, first, anyone want a second?
I'll second.
Alright, everybody, approves, say aye.
Aye.
Everyone that doesn't, say no. I heard no, so it's, accepted. And we need to do one for the PC portion of it as well, you said, Dan?
Pardon?
We need to do it for the PC, regulations portion, or does that cover the whole,
Well, actually, you would adopt both,
okay, so.
the BZA and the PC.
So is that the way everyone understood it, that we're doing it for both?
I think one vote covers.
Yeah, I think covers it
everything
all.
without any problem.
Yeah. Thank you, Dan, for all the efforts of getting that done. Appreciate it. Okay, that brings us on down to item 7, just kind of a catch area. So Dan, anything else that you wanna bring up, or things that came up that weren't on my agenda here?
No, except for, getting Jim a building permit.
Yeah. Sure.
We need to, keep up with Mr. Penner's, IDEM application and see where we're at with that.
Okay. Yeah,
Once this is done, of course, that won't that has to be actually approved by the council.
yeah, I'll bring that up on Thursday
Yeah,
and present that.
but, other than that, just trying to get the paving and sidewalk work finished up before, the end of the year, or at least get proposals, so that we can, encumber money in 2021. Just pretty much normal end of year stuff.
Okay, thank you. Alright, that almost brings us to the end, so, most important one, so really need to kick off the 2021 officers, and I tried to jot down some stuff here. I mean, really, there's 3 positions, so the president, which, is the position I'm in now, and I'm gonna step out of that and out of the, zoning part of it, and then, need somebody to do the vice president, and then secretary. So,
George, before we can go on to that, I'd like to introduce Sierra
okay,
Martin. She is a resident here in Clayton, has expressed an interest in being part of the Planning and Zoning Advisory Board. I didn't give her all the dirty details about what we do, but hopefully she's kind of caught on to some of it already tonight. Do you have any questions or comments for the group, or want to introduce yourself, or?
No, I'm Sierra. I don't really have any questions at this moment.
okay,
Okay.
alright, well, thank you for willing to volunteer and help out,
Absolutely.
thank you. Great,
All right. George?
thank you, Doug. So anyway, the new year will be here in the next, month, so I'm not sure how we would proceed. I've just been carrying on and doing it forever, so, somebody wanna sign up now, or do we wait until, I guess you could.
Why are you gonna choose
I'd-
so many volunteers?
Don't all jump
See,
at once.
that's always been the problem, right?
I make a motion to open up nominations for president of Planning and Zoning Board.
Okay, fantastic, I like that.
Need a second?
I'll give you a second for that.
Okay. All right, I would like to nominate Rob Miranda for president of Planning and Zoning.
Hey, don't be
Well,
like.
that's what I get for seconding. I just got thrown under the bus.
That's right, buddy.
You already said you were doing it.
I know, I told you I would. That's why you stayed another year.
Yeah.
I told him, I said, I gotta get my feet wet before I'm just gonna jump in, so.
You'll be buried in it. Okay, so we need to,
No objections.
anybody object to that?
Me.
Just Rob.
Just Rob.
You don't count.
All right, Rob, thank you, buddy.
Alright.
Now, while nominations are open, somebody can nominate a vice president and a secretary. We don't have to close nominations to vote.
Yeah.
We can vote on all of it together, unless we have a heated race.
I'll make a nomination for Nick Davis for vice president.
Nick,
Okay, I second that nomination.
take
Everybody's
Well,
gonna say as long as their name's not
I
on
didn't know
it.
it was gonna have this much fun. This is
Yeah.
awesome. So anybody object to Nick being the vice president? Way to go, Nick. All right, jump in there. Secretary. I think we have an awesome secretary right now, but I don't know if he wants to keep doing it, so.
The next year's secretary is gonna have a really easy job, because we got it on video
Video,
record, so
yeah.
they can just
Well,
look back and type it up
Yeah.
as they're watching it.
yeah, yeah, exactly, you don't have to, yeah, nobody was that
I wasn't quite ready for the shock of watching myself on the YouTube video.
hard. Don't do it.
There it was.
Are you running to run again or?
I thought I mean, I don't have a problem with doing it either way, but if somebody else wants to give a shot,
I know.
Cindy.
Doug's in again.
Alright,
That's kind of what happened to George.
that's what happened.
Yeah.
Not careful, 17
What?
years will
So I was
be
gonna
over.
say 17 years later.
Oh my goodness, it's like somebody else.
Man, it's hard to believe it's been 17 years since we started
I
this.
know, right? Forever.
That's amazing.
It's
And
just-
we had, what, 2 years before that before we ever got it
did,
done, so
we
it's
did, yeah,
almost 20 years of this.
yeah.
So what's the procedure to fill your vacancy then?
So I mean, I tried to write down some notes down here, but it's not overly complicated, just, I tried to get with Dan, the team, anybody, and you type up an agenda for the meeting.
I'm talking
then-
about the absence of we don't have enough members now.
No.
Yes,
no,
we do.
Oh, Sierra.
So
Sarah's
she's gotta, so she's
I
already,
think, unless she backs out. I mean,
that was my question.
after
We have
watching
to-
us,
that's
she
what I
might
thought.
decide to change her mind.
We have to do
Zero.
everything to
Yeah.
bring her on board, or is she
Uh,
already on board?
From what I understand, it's,
I mean, technically, by the way that the Indiana code is written, the president of the town council has to appoint a new member. Depending on if we could actually find records, if this were in the middle of George's term, it's a 4-year seat. If this were in the middle, I would be appointing a new person to fill his seat until his 4 years is up. And then they could be appointed again for another 4 years or however that works, so essentially, I get to appoint whoever's gonna take George's spot, so.
right, as a member.
Right,
And then-
so
and then
starting
as a
in
board-
January, basically, George will be vacated and then Sierra will take his spot.
And then,
So you're
and then
getting off
once
the
that,
plan commission altogether, George?
yeah, that was my hope.
You
That
should
I
hire.
concentrate on the sewer plant and I'm not going anywhere, so I'm willing to help out and.
Well, I'm
you
sure
need
at times we'll have questions we need answered, that, that kind of stuff, yeah.
with that much history, I'm happy to tell you what I can remember, and I've got tons of notes and stuff, so I'll get my book back so you can I have a master book, like the members have, so I'll get that back to you.
Yeah,
guys.
you'll get a copy of our comprehensive plan and a copy of the UDO. I will also email you a copy of the, Indiana Planning, group, which is, they're not a official legislative group or anything, they just are helpful, people like Deb Louisier, who's with GRW, and has helped us with forming this UDO. She, put together a handbook on, here's what planning and zoning people do in Indiana. So I'll email you that, so you can peruse through that if you're having trouble sleeping at night. Read through it, it'll put you to sleep easy, but. And that way we kinda can all operate on the same page, so to speak, with getting things done in this group. But, and then we meet, well, before we go too far, I make a motion to close nominations for officers.
Second.
Okay, and then, so we can vote on all three since nobody, there's not more than one person for each office that's uncontested, so, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Yes, sir.
All opposed? Okay, so those three positions are Rob Miranda, president, Nick Davis, vice president, yours truly, secretary. Okay, so now, back to, next year's meetings, 2021. I do have one other person, who's, he's a nurse that I work with at the hospital. He lives here in Clayton. And his wife, in fact, is a crossing guard for the
Oh,
school. And he's interested in participating, so with the BZA only having 2 members
We have 3.
each time.
It's just, yeah.
But you're
because-
supposed to have 5.
Yeah.
Oh, we're supposed to have
BZA is
5,
supposed
really?
to have 5.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So-
Okay, I thought it was just 3.
I was wanting to appoint him to the BZA.
No, I think that's great.
Unfortunately, his shifts are Saturday, Sunday, Monday every week. He's
Oh,
on
wow.
contract. So, would this group have a huge problem with moving to the first Tuesday of every month?
Reading there again some history, the only reason it was on Monday is because that was a better night for everybody. So
Yeah.
there's no,
And then, that's why I'm asking the
No,
group.
I
I don't wanna,
Yeah.
you know, assume that it's gonna be fine, but is the group okay with the first Tuesday of every month?
Yeah, that's,
So starting in January of 2021, this group can meet the first Tuesday of the month at 7 p.m. And then I can have Kevin be part of the BZA.
now, we were gonna make the BZA meeting at 6,
Well,
is that right?
according to this, the way this is set up, BZA meetings will start at 6,
Okay,
with the plan commission starting at 7.
okay.
Instead of, that way, they get open and closed the way they should, and,
yeah,
that's where we got confused, Rob, I was asking about according to this, but today
Right,
was different, so.
yeah, that's fine. It's no big deal. I just, we had that conversation and then I couldn't think of, was it tonight or,
Yeah,
cause I knew it was about, yeah, so.
that's why I emailed or texted back, I was afraid you thought I was messing with you.
Okay, so first Tuesday of each month, BZA will meet at 6, and then Planning and Zoning Advisory Board at 7.
You know, that way, if there's really nothing going on, if the BZA doesn't have anything on
We
their
don't have to
agenda.
meet.
Yeah, and the Planning and Zoning does not have to meet every month either. We're required to meet once a quarter.
Yeah.
So if there's nothing going on for Planning and Zoning, same thing. We don't have to
and that's,
pull together.
you guys have
So-
seen where I sent you and I said, hey, we're not having a meeting this month.
Right.
That was because there was nothing on agenda, there was no reason to meet, so we would gather it up, but, so that's on par with what we've been doing. We just have to let the members know everything, cause it is a change in schedule and
Well, you know, one priority I think that should happen in 2021, you had mentioned getting her a copy of our comprehensive plan. Our comprehensive plan needs to be updated. It's way out of date and it needs to be updated. We've discussed that before.
Yep.
Something that really needs to get done. I think we're about 8 years or so past when we should have had it updated, so. No time like the present, right?
And GRW will help with that also. We just have to get approval from the town council to spend money on doing that.
Alright. Alright, so, any other items tonight?
I got one. In future, how's the drain thing going? And, is all the red flags that's around town, is them the drains at work?
Red flags.
Red flags, are you talking about this, workers
Rain
man?
drain, rain drains.
Rain.
There's little red
Storm
flags
drains, yeah.
around things. I figure them maybe is the ones that work, 'cause you guys smoked them or something. What worked,
Yeah,
what
I
didn't
don't,
work.
Dan, do you know on that? They've been putting out red flags, and is that just the markers?
They're just
flags?
red flags, you know.
Where at?
Is that the
Around the
televising?
drains. I assume them, they marked them that way, they would.
Yeah, but they're pink, or am I going colorblind?
Well, it doesn't matter, it's a flag with a, it's
Yeah.
red, it's in the red thing.
Yeah, they're marked and stuff.
You're talking
But they
about
do
rain.
have, if you're on that, company's website, they have color codes for different things,
I
so.
understand.
Yeah.
I thought they were red, is why I said
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, they just mark it so that they know what they've, done in that particular location.
Right.
Well, I'm running water out of my house now instead of in it, and I got everything going to that corner. However, on the south side, I got some more work to do. What's happened is I'm dumping that out front because I wanna hit that drain down there that I assume works. That was an assumption because it was flagged. I guess that leads to the other question of, in the future, sidewalk program, there's very bad condition on that Ohio Street side, which there's others as well, I understand. But I got it going the right way, but it ends up on that sidewalk, all the way out through there. Because what's the next street west of Ohio? Crawford, where the
Now, west of Ohio?
Oh, west
That's
of
gonna be
Ohio.
Pennsylvania.
I'm sorry,
the
yes.
stuff coming, Pennsylvania's, you know, as it goes to 39 or Iowa Street, that's all high. As the time you get over by the west side of Ohio, you can look behind that property and you see natural drain. So I'm taking it and taking it off to the front. I wanna dump it in your rain drain. I guess, will they do these sidewalks and maybe when? You guys have any kind of forecast on that? Because all that's gotta be raised up. Possible conduit put in, to get that running the correct way is what I'm thinking.
And this is clean water you're,
It's rain,
Pumping out? Okay.
Yeah,
Alright.
so this is stormwater.
This is
Storm-
stormwater.
Stormwater is
Yeah,
what I would
stormwater.
consider, not,
So
not-
what they're smoking though is sanitary.
Yeah, it's the sanitary side.
They're working on sanitary right now because we're getting too much stormwater in the sanitary. We flood George
Yeah.
in big rains. Not to say we won't fix some of that, but that currently is not
On that
on the list of things to do, yeah.
I think I guess, when that happened, and I think I mentioned it to Dan, and he said it was okay, of course, I guess I'm just bringing it up. Do you guys have any idea on any kind of time on that, on that sidewalk on Ohio, on the west side of the road?
I don't know that.
well, I know that, you know, we've done some
Yeah, there's
kind
a
of
lot, yeah.
step-by-step projects for sidewalks. And the next opportunity we have to apply for, again, the community crossing matching grant,
Yeah.
that's where we're getting the money to do the sidewalks
Sure.
that we've done so far. So we wanna do that again in the future.
Yeah.
Just this year, they kind of suspended some of their grant stuff because of coronavirus, so they kind of bogged us down.
Right.
But we definitely have a plan of going forward and putting together another grant proposal
Right,
and,
in the future.
right. You know, it is a matching grant, so we have to pay a part of it ourselves out of our own budget, so
Sure.
that's a consideration as well. So that's why we don't just do all of the sidewalks
Oh,
at the
yeah,
same
one
time.
time.
Right,
Be
it's
devastating,
just,
yeah.
yeah.
And also, we've kind of got, Dan's got a hit list of these are the worst ones, you know.
Sure.
and we're going through, just like the roads, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
But I can't even tell you where Ohio Street's at on that list, do you know, Dan? I mean, is it,
Well, the way I've been doing it is pick the worst streets.
No,
We
I
done the
understand.
pavement asset management plan,
yeah,
rating the streets, pick the worst ones, and then do the sidewalks on those streets at the same time, because you can't, they don't have a grant just to do sidewalks.
Right.
You gotta do them in conjunction with
the street,
paving,
Sure.
so that's the best time to get them done, while you're doing the street.
sure.
That's why some get done and some don't. But, Jim, I'm sorry, I had you way down on the list, man.
That's okay.
No, I'm kidding.
I come in last block, Dan. But I may be smoking out the left side, but I'm still in the race. Is it probably public issue or knowledge, is that the sewer gonna be, go to Amo Clayton Road to pick up the school, the high school, is that what I heard?
That's kind of on hold right now. And that really doesn't have much to do with the town, other than we will take that's
Waste, yeah.
their waste, the school is responsible for running that to us.
I see.
So that's not really, yes, we have some involvement from the standpoint, but it's nothing we're gonna spend money on to speak of.
Right.
They have to get it to us.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't know if there was any.
and I think we've heard that's like 2 years out now, that they
Yeah.
haven't really,
My understanding was that, they wouldn't have any money in their budget until 2021.
okay,
Then by the time you get it designed and
yeah,
everything done, you're probably looking at 2 years
Yeah.
before it actually happens.
That's after the start button, which is not even.
right, they haven't even hit the start button yet, so.
What are you planning on doing with this water that, in the future, that you're getting slammed with, the storm water?
Well, that's what they're going through and then fixing the infiltration points.
Okay.
That's why they're smoking things and they've been, running cameras in the drains and
Sure.
they run them in the rain the other day and Dan was talking about that they actually literally flooded the camera and so there's all kinds of places in there that they're identifying. We're hoping they can fix some of them with that, poly pipe that they push in there and then heat up.
Plan.
And then the other is, I think they're gonna have to dig some of it up. We figure we're gonna have to actually do some excavation work but they're just identifying the worst spots right now so that we can
Sure.
spend our money the best to get the most.
Big
'Cause there's
thank
some-
you about,
Right, cause there's times, George, we don't get any rain and, and it gets dry and everything's good, and then we get a big rain and George doesn't get hit with a lot and then all of a sudden it's like somebody flips a switch.
slam.
Yeah, it's out.
Yeah,
I mean, the numbers are crazy.
and it's astronomical we're running 60, 70,000 gallon a day, right?
Yeah,
in the-
normal 60, 70, you'll go to 3, 4, 500,000.
Yeah, exactly, just at the flip of a switch. So, it's really, we've got something cross plumbed somewhere, and it's gotta be found.
There's a catch in there, 22.
Yeah,
Well, we have liner failures,
right,
deteriorated pipe. We have one area where the pipe is lined and then where there's a tap for someone's lateral, water was actually going between the liner and the lateral into our system. And it looked like somebody turned a fire hose on. It was just, water takes the path of least resistance and that's happened to be where it was, so. There's gonna be a process of reviewing they're doing camera inspections and cleaning right now, and then you've gotta review all that and prioritize it and
Process.
fix what you can, yeah, it's a process.
Alrighty, anybody else? We all done tonight?